Hey guys, Jay with EFC. A lot of questions about lateral head displacement. There's multiple ways you can do lateral head displacement depending on the positioning you are on the suspect. Prior to doing lateral head displacement, you have to understand what the arm extraction formula is. And the reason being is lateral head displacement just opens up the stomach down dilemma of his hands being closed underneath himself. When we open them up, we either get a full post or just a little bit of an opening to get to the B grip, which would be the wrist. B post, we get to the A grip. So understanding the arm extractions prior to doing the lateral head displacement. Again, lateral head displacement can be done from multiple different positions. I'm going to start to show you the pros of certain positions versus the cons, things we suggest as a good solution, things we don't suggest. Okay? So I'm in a knee on top position, okay, and he exposes an arm into a push-up. When he does that, okay, I need to have certain things in place to be able to extract his arm efficiently. First thing I need to do is stabilize his head. Okay? When I stabilize the head, I want to control what we call the eyebrow to the ear above that. One, if I'm on his neck, that could just look bad, but two, he can lift his head up. Okay? I want to be on the end of the lever where the skull is strong. I'm not slamming his head there, I'm just stabilizing it. It's going to be my counter pressure to unwinding his shoulder. Okay? So now I can work either arm, outside arm or inside arm, depending on which one is exposed. I have to have counter pressure. I'll work the outside arm just because, one, in my experience, when you take them down, they post, or you roll them, they post. It's usually the far side arm. So now the next thing I need to establish is under control. So I need to be under his armpit or inside control. I commonly refer to combing his armpit hair. I would like to establish one of two grips, A grip being better, so I come inside control to the pinky line, or if I can't get there because maybe it's just tucked in, I only have a little bit of space underneath, and I come to the wrist grip. That's the B grip, okay? Let's talk about the A grip. I come to the A grip. Shortcoming, as soon as I get the grip, I pull his hand back. As I pull his hand back, this allows Rick, to be strong with his elbows, start to wing down, and I can't manipulate his shoulder joint. I want his elbow above his hand. So as soon as I get A grip, if I turn it post 90 degrees, his elbow flares above. Now, Rick tries to stop me from pulling his hand back. Now I extract the arm, okay? If I get just B grip, nothing changes. If I start to pull back, I allow Rick's elbow to get closer to his body. He can flex, and it's difficult to break his shoulder posture. So it's just posture of his shoulder. So as soon as I get the B grip, now I take my elbow and I run it. And as you can see, right now it's running parallel with his elbow. I want it to actually run parallel with his head, because I'm going to use my forearm bone as like a crowbar, and I rock it forward, and now I can extract his arm, okay? I don't want to pull his arm back prior to unwinding the shoulder, and the reason being is I allow him to wing down. I bring it closer to his strengths, his back where his lats are strong, and his chest, okay? Now, the key to the head is, look, if I unwind his elbow, okay, pull this back, get this back, he can't. I can extract it at any time. If I let go of head stability and he lifts his head up, it allows him to unwind the elbow. So I must have head stability, and then I need to unwind the elbow, then I extract the arm. So now that we understand the extractions, we can work at looking at, hey, how do I open up the next dilemma? If he does a push-up, he solves the guy keeping his arms tucked underneath him. So now Rick's going to take his arms underneath him. Now I have this problem. Now my dilemma is, before I can go to an arm extraction, is how do I get to A grip or B grip, okay? So from the knee on top position, okay, I like to cross face at the eyebrow or ear, okay, and move his head. I don't want to be down by his neck. Sure, it looks bad, not really worried about the optics, but it's hard to move his head down here. I want to actually take my cross face and be at that eyebrow ear and move his head towards the shoulder I want. Right? I'm going to step, and I'm going to use my hips to turn his head. This far side arm is already on his far side arm, getting ready to work the problem. So as I step, I dig, and now once I dig, I lift slightly. The reason I lift slightly is I don't need to drag his face across the pavement and cause damage. I'm just taking his ear to his shoulder. As I take the ear to the shoulder, it opens up. I re-stabilize because I have B grip, and now I'm going to start to unwind the elbow, okay? I don't like, from the knee on top position, okay, of reaching my elbow over the face, okay? One, it's very difficult here, okay? And balance is awkward, but it's very difficult to stay high on the head, okay? If I'm too low, if I'm below the ear and eyebrow, it's hard to move his head, but Rick can also bite my arm here, and I've actually seen this occur, okay? I've actually seen people get bit in the tricep because they don't stay above the eyebrow. The other thing that can happen is maybe he decides to get offensive now and grab this arm. Now when he grabs that arm, I'm high, and it's easy for him to reverse the position on me. So I don't like to put my arm over top from the knee on top position, okay? Another way I can do it from the knee on top position that's pretty efficient is I'm just gonna grab the crown of the head and move it towards the near side shoulder, which will open the far side shoulder up. So, second option from here, instead of reaching my tricep over and putting myself off balance and all the way across his body, okay, is I'm just going to step, grab the crown of the head, and move it to the shoulder. I lift slightly again so I don't drag across the ground. Lift slightly, there's a drag, there's a risk, restabilize the head, okay? I really like doing that one from what we call the low crab ride position. I don't prefer people to back mount without having an arm behind their back first. The reason being is I can get high and I can fall off. Once I establish an arm behind his back and I wedge, when I go into the EFC wedge position, it's very difficult for him to buck me off. So then it's different. So if I want to back mount because I'm not a big knee on top guy, or I don't like knee on top, or maybe the guy's hips are really strong, we come into a crab ride, which means my toes are inside and my knees are outside. Okay? From this position, I'm working to be underneath and win inside control. But again, he's got the dilemma of he's tucked, so I can't get to A grip or B grip. From this position, what I do is just go into the crown of the head one again. I reach up to the crown of the head, chest to back. I move his head, and it opens him up. Control the wrist control, restabilize, unwind the shoulder, extract the arm. Once I extract the arm, now I can back mount and not worry about getting booked high, okay? Very difficult for him to get his hips up if I wedge this arm. Commonly taught here is like an S-mount position, and I don't like that in police work. It's too easy to get put on my butt with size differences. I take a two-hand grip, control the arm I have pinned on the back, my outside arm to his elbow controlled, I lift, and I take my thigh, and I use it as a ramp. This is a wedge. The reason I do the wedge is because now I can come forward, okay? Now, this is the time where you can take your tricep and move his head away from the shoulder you want, okay? It's very hard for him to get you high because of the wedge system. This wedge system for us allows both hands to come in. Look, I come to the wedge, I work it up nice and high, I close the space, Rick, pull your arm out. Like 100% try to pull your arm out. It's very difficult for him to pull his arm out. I have both hands that I can use now. Now, if I'm gonna move his head with the tricep, I do so. But when I do that, I must maintain eyebrow to ear height. The reason being is his head is strong and I don't want to get bit, okay? Now I can come, it is very difficult, and open and extend, okay? And I've already controlled the arm. If I don't want to reach over, tuck that back underneath you. If I don't want to reach over and do it, I can still come to the same side again and just open it up that way. I like to control the wrist and then again, unwinding the shoulder, controlling both hands, and then going to our cuffs. Cuffing that guy the same way I do the cooperative person. Okay? So there's a bunch of shortcomings that we've been seeing out there. Again, you gotta be very careful reaching over. You reach over and try to pull it towards you from there. You can get reversed, you're out of position. So I would prefer cross-facing to, or just pulling the crown of the head to you. You can also just go to the crab ride position, pull the crown, win that first arm. Then you can back mount in what we call our wedge system. That wedge system allows us to now work up higher and not get reversed.